تِلْكَ آيَاتُ الْكِتَابِ الْمُبِينِ
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another session of great stories. Our today's story is about very early times. Thick forest and wilderness covered most of the planet. In between the woods, there were small towns and villages. People lived in huts made of mud or logs. They covered themselves with animal skins. Every morning, men went out to hunt, while women looked after their small gardens. By noon, men returned with whatever they could kill. The meat was cooked and everyone shared the food. Life was simple, full of love and care. Now let us tell you something about the forest. Forests were a mysterious place. Humans were afraid going deep into the woods. All kinds of birds, tigers, and snakes lived in these thick forests. But there was another strange creature in these forests. Deep, deep in the woods, on the top of dead trees, lived the invisible creatures called the jinn. Made out of fire, they were big and strong. They could fly to the last limit of the sky. They were also able to fly around the planet in just few seconds. They had the power to lift heavy things, yet they had the ability to change into wind and enter into an ant hill or the trunk of an elephant. Surprisingly, the jinn were very shy and they were not very intelligent either. Good for humans, because then they never bothered anybody. With all their strength and power, jinns never came close to where humans lived. But then, one day, all that changed. It was late evening. The jinn were coming back to the dead trees. They were settling down on huge tree branches. They noticed a huge creature on top of a tall tree. The creature had red eyes and it looked fierce. The jinns were scared. They ran away and hid behind the mountains and inside the caves. From there, they peeped out just enough to look at this furious creature. The creature spoke. Its voice could be heard for miles. "Come here, all of you." But jinns didn't show up. "Okay, looks like I will have to come to you. But remember, I will be very angry if I will have to do that. And trust me, folks, you won't like to see me angry." With that, the creature stood up. The jinns flew from every direction and came right in front of it. "Don't hurt us. Just tell us what you want us to do." Hundreds of jinns stood there with their heads down and hands folded. "Well, that's more like it. Now, let me introduce myself. I am Iblis." Zoom, zoom, zoom! All the jinns flew once again. From behind the covers, one of them spoke up. You mean the Iblis, the one who disobeyed Allah, the very proud one? Yes, that's me. Now could you all please come back and expect no harm from me? I have brought a very important news for all of you. Slowly, all the jinn came back. Now sit down and listen to me carefully. He looked around. What do you call this place? It's dead wood. It's our home. Iblis smiled and asked, Do you like this place? We love it. Well, the news is that pretty soon you will be thrown out. Jinn looked at each other and said, But who would do that? We harm nobody. It will be done by humans. Humans? That's right, humans. Allah has made them in charge of this whole planet. And I have just found out that they plan to cut down all the trees. The jinn were shocked. But what for? We mean no harm to them. We are sure that there is a mistake here because Iblis stomped his foot and said, Could you please be quiet and listen to me? Human plan to build big malls and shopping centers here. They need place to park their cars. The jinn were sad. Some of them started to cry. Oh, look at you, crying like a baby. But I don't blame you. I would do the same. If someone like this would happen to my home, Iblis let them cry. I tell you what, since I'm on your side, I will show you how to take revenge from these humans. And how that can be done? Iblis explained them in detail. Well, it will not be difficult for you guys. Just go close to a human and whisper bad ideas, and then watch the humans do bad things. Allah will not like it when they do bad, and He will punish them. And then your job will be done. The jinns couldn't believe what Iblis was telling them. They commented, humans are smart. They won't listen to us. Nothing will happen. The Iblis didn't like that. Oh, you just watch. I guarantee they will listen. You just make sure to whisper over and over again. He told them the kinds of things they should be whispering to people, like killing each other, cheating, and wasting time. Finally, Iblis said, Now, my friends, let's get busy. Each one of you, look for a human and start whispering. That day, Jinn flew out of the forest and went in every direction looking for humans. But humans didn't know this because they could not see them. A jinn found a rich man giving food to poor. The rich man seemed so happy to be doing that. The jinn came close to him and whispered, "You should not waste your money feeding these people. Instead, you should save your money and food. You might need it for your family." The rich man first ignored the thought, but Jinn went on saying it over and over again. The rich man started to take this seriously. He stopped giving bread. Now he was standing in one place, thinking, "That's right, I should not waste my money." He was not smiling anymore. "Excuse me, sir," said a poor little girl to him. The rich man looked at her angrily. "Go away. I have nothing for you." The girl begged. "But sir, you are holding a loaf of bread. I am hungry, and it would be very kind of you if I can have it." The man shouted back, "It's not my problem if you are hungry." With that, he picked all the breads and went back home. The poor waiting for their turn were surprised. "What happened to the rich man? He has always enjoyed giving us food. Why he is suddenly so changed?" But they could not figure out. One jinn went to the king and whispered, "You trust people too much. That's not good. People are planning to kill you." The jinn went on, and finally the king believed him. The king invited the city people. The people loved to meet the king, so they all came happily. "Assalamu alaikum, great king." But instead of saying wa alaikum assalam, the king replied, "The great king, huh? I know you people. You all hate me. And I also know that you are planning to kill me." The people were surprised to hear that. "There must be a mistake, sir. We can't even think of that." But the king did not believe them. "Put them all in jail." The whole country was now in grip of fear. Children looking for their fathers, mothers crying for their sons. On a dirt road away from the town, a man walked with an axe in his hand. A jinn whispered to him, "Why spend so much time cutting wood? It takes a long time taking all this wood to the market. And what do you get at the end? Few coins?" Then he gave him a plan that jinn had for the poor man. It was to break into houses and steal. And that's exactly what the poor man did. With all these whispering, you can imagine what happened to the world. Rich were rude to poor, poor stole from the rich, and the kings became cruel. All the people were worried and confused. Finally, Allah decided to bring humans out of all this misery. He selected Prophet Suleman for this purpose. Allah said to him, I am giving under your command all the birds and winds and beasts of the world, and more than anything, I am going to help you. Now save people from Iblis and his jinn friends. Suleman gathered a big army, and then he attacked the dead woods. It was early morning when Suleman reached there. Iblis was trying to wake all the jinn. Wake up, you fireballs. Time to go and whisper. It's been zillion times that I have told you to sleep early. I don't know what you keep drifting here and there for. That's when they felt strong winds blowing from every direction. Suddenly, different types of birds dived in from the sky, and then came a flying carpet. Suleman was standing on this carpet. The wind howled and clouds thundered as Suleman came near the trees. Suleman! Iblis screamed and ran away. All the jinns woke up abruptly. They had no idea what was going on. They saw Iblis flying away as fast as he could. Without giving it much thought, the jinns tried to flee as well. But Allah took away their power to fly. Not knowing that their power to fly is gone, they jumped and fell straight on the ground. Today you have no power, Suleman said to them. From now on, you will work for me. So make a line and follow me. All the jinns were brought to Suleman's grand palace. The jinn were very sorry for what they had done. They asked Suleman to forgive them. Suleman forgave them, and Allah gave them their strength and powers back. But now they had to do exactly what Suleman told them to do. You have harmed humans a lot, and now you will have to pay them back. I want you to make houses, hospitals, and mosques for humans. So from that day onwards, jinn could be seen working very hard, while Suleman kept a strict eye on them. Every day after the morning prayers, all the birds and winds and jinns had to report to Suleman. There he assigned everyone the day's task. One day, right when he was about to give the assignments, he noticed that woodpecker was not there. Suleman looked around and said, Now, where is woodpecker? He knows well that he has to be here on time. I hope he has a good reason for not being here, or I will have his wings clipped. Right then, woodpecker came in and perched on his place in the court. Cook, cook, I have just come back from the land of Saba, he said. Saba is the land of beautiful valleys, mighty rivers, cook, and strong people. Cook, cook, cook. They are ruled by a kind-hearted queen. Cook, cook, cook. But there is only one problem. All the people of Saba, including their queen, pray to sun. Kukuk. They think that sun is the god. I believe they know nothing about Allah. Then it's our responsibility to inform them about Allah. I invite the queen to come here so she can learn about Allah. Immediately, Suleman wrote a letter and handed it over to the woodpecker. The woodpecker flew back to the land of Saba. It was midday when woodpecker entered the royal court of Saba. The queen was talking to her army chiefs when the woodpecker perched on the armrest of her chair and handed her the letter. People present there had never seen a bird carrying a letter and then have the courage to enter a royal court. They were anxious to know what was in the letter. The queen said, "This letter is from King Suleman. It says, 'In the name of Allah, who is very loving and caring, I invite you to my palace.'" The queen knew nothing about Suleman, so she didn't know what to say. "So what should we do?" she asked her generals. One of the generals got up and said, "Great queen, you don't have to go if you don't want to. You know we are strong and we can defend Saba if it comes to that." Queen thought for a while and said, "Well, let's send our ambassador to him with many gifts. Maybe he will be happy to receive expensive gifts, and then I won't have to go." The queen's ambassador went to Suleman's court with many camel loads of gifts. He read the message from the queen. "I am sorry for not coming, but I am sending you some very expensive gifts. Please accept them, and I hope you won't mind if I don't come to see you." Suleman knew that queen wanted to bribe him, thinking that he is a greedy king who is interested in gold and diamonds. He said to the ambassador, "You must have noticed that Allah has given me a lot of everything. I don't need your expensive gifts. I only want to meet your queen. So take all this back and tell your queen to come as soon as possible." The ambassador went back to the queen and said, "Suleman is the greatest king of the planet. So instead of sending him gifts, you should go and see him." Once again, the army chiefs didn't want the queen to go. They were very proud of their strength, and they really wanted to prove it. So they were all for a fight. But the queen didn't want anybody to die or get hurt. So she took off on a long journey to meet Suleman. Allah informed Suleman of this. Suleman called his council of jinn and said, "Who can bring me the throne of queen before she gets here?" A jinn got up and said, "I can bring it before you get up from your chair." Another jinn stood up and announced, "I have the power to bring it before you, even before you blink your eyes. Suleman blinked, and there it was, the beautiful throne of the Queen of Saba, sitting right in the middle of the court. Suleman said, I am thankful to Allah for giving me such a powerful army. He thought for a while and ordered the jinn, change its color a little bit from here. Now make its legs little taller. Fine. Now raise its back. Good. Now it looks bit different. A week later, the queen was received at the palace by Suleman. She was taken to the royal court. The ministers, ambassadors, and the army generals welcomed her. They were all very friendly and caring. Suleman told her about Allah. All the humans, animals, and plants are made by Allah. Even the sun is made by Allah. So we should only pray to Allah. We should only ask Him for help. It all made sense to the queen, but she needed some time to think. Suleman requested her to visit the grand hall. There he showed her the throne and said, does it look familiar? The queen looked at it with great surprise and said, well, it looks like mine, but then it can't be. It can't be brought here so quickly. And then I noticed some differences as well. Suleman said, it is yours. My jinn was able to bring it here in a second. Then he told her about the changes that he had made. He showed the queen many magnificent things around his grand palace and said, all of this is from Allah, so you can see how powerful Allah is. The queen was convinced now, so she accepted Islam. The queen learned all about Allah and Islam from Suleman. She went back and told her people what she had learned. In a very short time, she convinced the people of Saba, and everyone there accepted Allah as their Lord. Now, to read this story, go to chapter 27 of Holy Quran. Until the next session of the great stories. Assalamu alaikum.